Hi, this is Jeff Tate, and you're listening to 90.7 WCLH Wilkes-Barre, home of Metal Mondays.
.7 WCLH, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, Hazleton. That is Queensryche from their Promised Land release, Damaged. And maybe you two were at the show at Penn's Peak last night, Lynch Mob and Queensryche. I'll tell you, I went for Lynch Mob and I stayed for Queensryche. And normally, using that metaphor, saying whatever that's saying, you would say, you know, both are regarded well. I went for this, I stayed for that. But I gotta tell you, I usually trash the new Queensryche. And Lynch Mob was great. I'll play them later and discuss that show. But as for Queensryche right here, they really got to me. They really did, because I joined a group recently. It was called, on Facebook, the group was called Jeff Tate, the one and only voice of Queensryche. And I do believe that. But they really got to me, because I'm like, you know, I might as well stay. I'm here. It's not like I'm going to leave. I'm not that disrespectful. You know, kudos to the guys for continuing, and they did sound wonderful. And what really got to me was the set list that they picked. Just, I don't think they could have picked better songs for me to have to enjoy, even though I'm such a Jeff Tate fan. They started off with Best I Can, which has been one of my favorite songs. Not the favorite, which I'll get to, but definitely a good one. And then they went early in the set into the song I just played, Damaged. And then the kicker, the biggest kicker, was them playing my favorite Queensryche song, The Mission. But my beef here was that even though they did it so well, it's hard for me to condemn them for this, but you know, songs like Damage and The Mission and just Promised Land and Operation Mindcrime in general, the main guys behind those releases were DeGarmo and Tate, both not in the band. So, you know, in a way, I liked Queensryche so much last night because they were delivering the tunes that DeGarmo and Tate wrote. You know, it's hard for me to say that because, you know, they are Queensryche, they're legal Queensryche, you know, play whatever. And I've always found that issue to be up in the air. Who really has the main credit for a song? In terms of, you know, you're just writing the song, as in DeGarmo and Tate are writing the song. Are they really the reason why that song took off so much? Or is it possibly a guitar solo in a song? Because from what I see in credits, a guitar player, even though they might have a killer song on a song, if they didn't write the song and the basic structure of that song, the chord progression, the melody, the lyrics, they're not credited with that song. So hard for me to tell with Queensryche. So I hope I don't get kicked out of that Facebook page, Jeff Tate, the one and only voice of Queensryche, for saying that I did enjoy the set from Queensryche yesterday. It'd be like going to a cover band and them sounding just like Queensryche. You just have to enjoy it no matter who the members are, what you feel. A great set from them. And in honor of my favorite Queensryche song, how about the man himself singing it right now? It is The Mission from Operation Mindcrime. Keep it locked on 90.7 WCLH with Queensryche.
Just a moment. God the Holy Ghost is calling out to embrace you. I want you to reach deep into your hearts and your pocketbooks and take his hand.
Bless me, Father, for I have sinned.
Now you're saying,
Decades of Metal. Decades of Metal.
raise the slave! Raise the slave!
Decades of Metal. Metal Mass-Acre, playing the past and present of classic metal on Mondays from 3 to 5 on 90.7 WCLH.
Hey, this is George Lynch, and you're listening to 90.7 WCLH Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah!
It is Metal Mass-Acre on 90.7 WCLH Wilkes University Radio. That was Lynch Mob with Tangled in the Web, that time coming from the 2003 re-recording of the track from their Revolution album. Of course, Robert Mason on vocals, and he originally did the vocals on that song when it was on the Lynch Mob self-titled album from 92. And I'm still excited. I saw Lynch Mob at Penn's Peak just last night, and I was so much wondering who would be singing for Lynch Mob, because Robert Mason of Warrant sang for Warrant and for Lynch Mob during M3, which is the Hard Rock and Metal Festival in Maryland, which I never make it out to, but someday I hope to. And it was a big deal. All the metal news sites were reporting on it. I shared it to the Facebook page that Robert Mason was doing double duty, Warrant and Lynch Mob for M3, but I didn't necessarily see anything for Penn's Peak, so I was going there hoping that Robert Mason would be on vocals, and it happened. And what was great about this is that they got to bring in some songs from that Lynch Mob self-titled album. So I've seen Lynch Mob. That was probably the fourth or fifth time I've seen them. So it was great to see a new set with some newer songs they haven't done in a while. Because I don't see Oni Logan, the classic singer of Lynch Mob. I don't think he would ever do anything from the self-titled Lynch Mob, but Robert Mason. Of course, though, Robert Mason did some songs from Wicked Sensation, their debut, which was great as well. Oni Logan, Robert Mason, both soulful singers, definitely can do great on each song, but was happy to hear. And we heard Tangled in the Web. That's what they played last night at Penn's Peak. And I'll tell you, why I played Tangled in the Web, the re-recording. My dad is listening on his way to work right now, and if I played the original studio version of Tangled in the Web, he wouldn't like that, because there's horns in that song, and horns just don't go well with metal. I think Raven and I disagree with that, Dad, but, did that for you. The version closest to what we heard, if you were at Penn's Peak last night, Tangled in the Web, I was in the audience, however, doing the air horn during those parts where the horn typically is entangled in the web. But that got me to thinking, when I was listening to that song right there, how do you necessarily play the air horn, such as, like the air guitar, because all horns require air, don't they? So I was thinking like the atmospherical horn or something like that, maybe. But anyway, if you missed Lynch Mob at Penn's Peak last night, you could still get some live entertainment tonight right here on the Wilkes University campus. You were invited to a cabaret recital, and that's tonight. Here are the details. The Wilkes University Division of Performing Arts will present a cabaret recital at 7 p.m. on Monday, May 7th. That's tonight. In the upper lobby of the Dorothy Dixon Dart Center Auditorium, the cabaret features student vocalists from the studio of Lisa Levy. Accompanied by pianist Aaron Phillips, the students will perform selections from a variety of shows, including Waitress, Heathers, In the Heights, Civil War, Into the Woods, Newsies, Guys and Dolls, Sweeney Todd, Phantom of the Opera, Jekyll and Hyde, and many more. The event is free of charge and open to the public. So if you're in Wilkes-Barre, head on over to the Dorothy Dixon Dart Center. That's about in an hour. If you're around and want some live entertainment, you missed Lynch Mob in Queensryche last night, live entertainment right here on Wilkes campus, free entertainment, some singing, some tunes. So, once again, I'm sticking with Lynch Mob, the double dose of Lynch Mob from the show. And I'm going with Robert Mason once again from the self-titled album. I really hope that Robert sticks with Lynch Mob from now on. If, the other guys in the Brotherhood can't get along, Robert Mason can definitely get the job done. And for next time, this is a song that I would really like to hear in a set. It's the last track from the self-titled The Secret. It's a good one, so turn it up and keep it locked with Lynch Mob.